The Apparitions of Our Lady of Cuapa took place in 1980 in the small rural town of Cuapa, Nicaragua. These events were experienced by Bernardo Martinez, a humble sacristan and layman. The apparitions received formal approval as worthy of belief by the local Catholic bishop, Monsignor Pablo Antonio Vega, in 1982. In 1980, Nicaragua was facing intense turmoil following the 1979 Sandinista revolution, which had overthrown the Somoza dictatorship. The new socialist government brought promises of reform, but also growing tensions, polarization, and the early formation of armed opposition groups, known as the Contras. Religious tensions were rising as the Catholic Church, initially supportive of the revolution, became divided and wary of government interference. In rural areas like Cuapa, ordinary people lived in fear and uncertainty, caught between political ideologies and social instability. It was during this period of national instability that the apparitions of Our Lady in Cuapa occurred. Bernardo Martinez served as sacristan of the local parish in Cuapa. He was known for his devout faith and commitment to prayer, particularly the Rosary. In April 1980, he noticed something unusual. A statue of the Virgin Mary in the chapel began to emit a mysterious soft light. The glow appeared at night and lasted for extended periods. Martinez initially thought this was a natural phenomenon, or perhaps a trick played by someone. However, upon investigation, no explanation was found. Following this experience, on May 8th, 1980, while praying the Rosary near the Rio Grande River, Bernardo saw a vision of a beautiful woman surrounded by radiant light. The woman was wearing a white dress with a blue sash, had bare feet, and her hands were joined in prayer. She stood on a small cloud slightly above the ground. Although she did not initially identify herself, Bernardo understood that this was the Virgin Mary. In this first apparition, Mary spoke to him in a gentle and maternal voice. She said, "Do not be afraid, I am the mother of Jesus." She asked him to encourage the faithful to pray the Rosary daily. She emphasized the importance of meditating on the mysteries and not rushing through the prayers. The Lord does not like prayers said in a rush or without thinking. Tell the people to pray the Rosary every day, especially as a family. Mary appeared to Bernardo a total of 6 times between May and October 1980. In each apparition, she delivered messages centered on conversion, prayer, peace, and the importance of sincere devotion. Her messages reflected concern not only for the spiritual state of individuals, but also for the moral and social condition of the world. During one apparition, she stated, "People must change. The Lord does not want to offend him anymore. He is already much offended." She encouraged frequent reception of the sacraments, particularly confession and the Eucharist, and emphasized living a life of Christian charity. She called for repentance and sincerity in prayer. Her words underscored that external religious acts must be accompanied by internal transformation. In a later vision, Mary granted Bernardo a mystical experience. He saw a group of people clothed in white, radiating joy and harmony. walking toward a bright light. They sang a hymn that glorified God. Mary explained, these are the first communities. They lived united. They were full of love. There were no divisions, no hatred, no weapons. This vision contrasted with the divisiveness and conflict present in Nicaraguan society at the time. It was a call to return to the unity and love of the early church. Mary also warned of future suffering if people continued to turn away from God. She did not mention specific dates or events, but expressed sorrow over humanity's rejection of divine love. She said, you are going to suffer a great deal. Pray, pray, my son. I am with you even though you do not see me. Bernardo initially hesitated to share his experiences publicly, fearing disbelief and ridicule. However, Mary reassured him, do not be afraid. Tell the priests, tell the people, I will accompany you. He obeyed and began to share the messages with the local clergy and parishioners. The response was mixed at first, with some believing him and others expressing skepticism. Eventually, interest in the apparitions spread, and the matter came to the attention of the Bishop of Juigalpa. Bishop Pablo Antonio Vega opened a formal investigation into the events. He conducted interviews with Bernardo and others, carefully examining the content of the messages and their consistency with Catholic teaching. After 2 years of investigation, in 1982, he declared that the apparitions were worthy of belief. This means that while belief in the apparitions is not required for Catholics, they may accept them as credible and spiritually beneficial. The messages given at Cuapa contain no new doctrines. Rather, they echoed traditional themes found in Catholic spirituality and in other approved Marian apparitions. These themes included personal conversion, the power of the Rosary, devotion to the Eucharist, and peace. Mary did not predict specific political or natural disasters. Instead, she warned of spiritual consequences and the loss of peace when people stray from God. The apparitions of Cuapa had a lasting impact on Bernardo. Deeply moved by his experiences, he continued to live a life of prayer and service. Some years after the apparitions, he discerned a vocation to the priesthood and was eventually ordained. His testimony remained consistent throughout his life. He always emphasized that the Virgin's primary message was to draw people closer to Jesus through prayer, repentance, and love for one another. The site of the apparitions has since become a place of pilgrimage. A shrine and chapel have been built at the location where Bernardo received the visions. Many pilgrims visit to pray the Rosary, attend Mass, and seek spiritual renewal. The shrine remains a symbol of peace and faith amid the struggles of life. Today, the apparitions of Our Lady of Cuapa are often seen in the context of a broader pattern of Marian apparitions in the 20th century, like those at Fatima, Portugal, and Kibeho, Rwanda. The Cuapa apparitions include calls to prayer and conversion in times of moral crisis. Yet Cuapa stands out for its simplicity and the quiet humility of its visionary. Mary's words at Cuapa continue to resonate. Pray, 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 my son. The world is in danger. Pray the Rosary every day. Tell the people to change their lives. The messages urge individuals, to take personal responsibility for their relationship with God. Rather than calling for large-scale public demonstrations, Mary emphasized the importance of small, consistent acts of faith, praying the rosary with devotion, attending Mass, frequent confession, forgiving others, and living in peace. Although the political climate in Nicaragua has changed since 1980, the spiritual message remains relevant today. In a world often marked by anxiety, division, and superficiality, the Cuapa Apparitions remind believers to focus on interior transformation and faithful living.